American States was supposed to be in Cuba today to receive an award named after one of the country's late dissidents, but Cuba denied his entry.
Also, an American delegation is wrapping up a visit to the communist island. Our Hatzel Vela, the one and only reporter from a local TV station there in the U.S., to report inside Cuba.
The award ceremony took place here inside this modest home in the neighborhood of El Cerro, except organizers are telling us those who were supposed to be honored were not allowed inside the country. The recipient of what is being called the Liberty in Life Award was not there to receive it, the first of its kind given in the name of Osvaldo Paya, a high-profile Cuban dissident who died in a car accident back in 2012. Paya was known for the Varela Project, which asked for democratic reforms in Cuba. We asked Paya's daughter what the award means.
A way to commemorate the memory of my father, and it's also a way to tell to the Cuban government and to the international community that we are seeking justice, that we want truth, and that we want to end the impunity of the government.
The award's first recipient is Luis Almagro, Secretary General of the Organization of American States. Almagro recognized for his actions when it comes to human rights violations, specifically in Venezuela. But Almagro wasn't allowed in the country. In a letter, Almagro says his visa application was denied by Cuban authorities. He says the Cuban government was surprised he was participating in what they called anti-Cuban activities, and that his visit was an unacceptable provocation.
This is just an offense to the international community. This is an offense to the OAS, to all the governments that are members of the OAS.
Organizers also invited former Mexican President Felipe Calderón, who took to Twitter to say he also could not attend because Cuban immigration officials told him he could not enter Cuba. Our camera's also inside the U.S. Embassy, where a congressional delegation talked about their recent trip to Cuba. The delegation, led by Senator Patrick Leahy of Vermont, talked about a meeting they had with Cuban President Raúl Castro. The delegation is convinced the Cuban government will continue internal reforms when it comes to modernizing the country. And a Republican senator telling us the Trump administration is willing to try new things, including the continuation of the normalization process former President Barack Obama started.
I think there's a new openness, a willingness to take chances, to see if they work. And I think that has some people a little nervous because you don't know what the new president's going to announce or say in the next minute. He is spontaneous.
The bipartisan delegation says it will return to Washington with a message to Congress and President Trump that engagement with Cuba is the best policy going forward. I'm Hatzel Vela, Local 10 News, Havana.
All right, Hatzel, thank you.